After 20 years of building together through dust, deadlines, and damn good ideas, Pace and Adam invite you to join them for honest conversations about the home building world. Welcome to Build Connected, where experience meets insight, powered by Diamond Home Restoration.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Build Connected. Adam, just the two of us today.
Yeah, let's do this. We can do this. We've done it before.
We've done it before. It's always great having a guest, but today it's going to be the two of us rocking and rolling. Can you see that table behind me?
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. You see a table behind me that's not normally there?
I see a sign that says nude girls.
Well,
Is
you
that what you're
can't,
talking
I don't
about?
think you can see all that sign. You shouldn't have disclosed all of it,
Oh.
but okay. That, since you mentioned it, that was an antique find that my wife and I made at the Alameda Flea Market many years ago. And so it's a sign we bought together, and we always get a chuckle out of it. That's what that is. So,
Okay.
yeah, thanks. Thanks for
I can't
letting the cat out of the
I
bag.
can't really see the table.
Well, I was gonna say it's for something else, but I was gonna say, since you're on vacation, I thought I'd set up a gift wrap station to give you a present for you coming back to work. That was gonna be the trick.
Wow. So you think this is a vacation that I'm on right
Yeah,
now?
that's what I call it.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right, let's get into it. What are we talking about today?
We're going to stay on point with Fire Month and talk about a product that I'm really interested in. Pace, you and I have never used it. It's a brand new product. The company is called Arklin, and they make a product called Firepoint. And it is a 1 hour rated piece of plywood.
Tell me the
You
name of the
remember
company one more time.
Arklin, Arclin, I believe? And Pace, you remember when we were kids and we would light firecrackers, and sometimes they had those little black cats, right? You'd light them, those little black pills, and then they would just expand and turn into a big black snake.
I do.
Well, imagine that material that's sprayed over an entire sheet of plywood. So what happens is that stuff it expands, right? When you light that stuff on fire when you were a kid, but it is a fireproof material. So they coat this plywood with that stuff. I don't know if it's the same stuff or something similar. Just wanted to give you a sense of how it reacts. But when it catches fire, this stuff expands all over the sheet of plywood, and these pieces of plywood give you a 1 hour rating. And as a bonus, it's all struck one plywood. And so for those of you that don't know what struck one is, whenever we do shear wall work, a lot of times the engineer requires us to do shear wall, which is another conversation we can have. But this plywood is rated for shear wall. So really, really cool product. I don't really know what this stuff cost, but I would be interested. But a lot of times when we're in a WUI zone, we're required by building and planning to create a 1 hour assembly. And sometimes we achieve that by doing our sheathing and then doing a layer of gypsum board. It's like an exterior gyp board on top of that. So this kind of skips that step. So you're saving on labor. I'm sure it's more expensive than a regular sheet of ply, but saving on labor and the cost of the gyp. So I'll bet it's pretty close to a wash, I would guess.
Yeah, I think so. I like you said, we haven't used it yet, but I have a feeling by the end of the year we will have. Um, Maybe just skipping back a little bit, you mentioned struck one. So, a lot of the country in the past, when we were building really not up to snuff, a lot of people were kind of sheathing their houses with cardboard, right? Like a step up from that would be like a particle board. And then you'd move up from there to like maybe an exposure one type plywood. In that same area would be an OSB product. And then on top of that would be the struck one, which is generally what we're using on our houses.
Yeah, that's an interesting product. Check it out if you're a builder or a homeowner that's interested in doing some fire resistant work on your house if you're doing some construction.
I
But
mean, we always like a product that is solving two problems. And so we're hitting our fire rating and we're meeting our like diaphragm requirements with that struck one. So it's a great product to talk about.
Yeah, I would guess this is gonna be everywhere soon. I mean, like I said, it's brand new and it's such a great idea. So I'm sure we're gonna be seeing a lot of it in the future.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today, Pace? What do you got for us?
Well, last week I was watching TV and a commercial came on. It was for a luxury car brand. And, the family uh, driving the car, they were kind of doing, scenes in and out of life and work. And the guy, the husband, was an architect. And so there was a scene of like, his architect team standing around like a really fancy balsa wood model, like you like to make. And just it was very glamorous. And it got me thinking back to George Costanza, right? Whenever he was impersonating someone, he always wanted to be an architect. Uh, and there's this very, I mean, architects are certainly professionals, but there's this artistic element that goes along, I think, with that profession. And it really got me thinking about our previous conversation about the design disconnect and how, like, it feels to us in our area, there's this artistry without the client constraints. It feels like that's somewhere where the problem lies. Like, I think that architects, they have so much to learn and they are proficient in so many things and they are so artistic and their understanding of like spatial relationships is at the heart of what they do. So they're doing all of these things, but there are a set of parameters that they need to work within. And those are client priorities, client budget, schedules, right? All of their solutions need to fall within those parameters. And watching the commercial just got me thinking about kind of what's thought of with an architect versus what's required of an architect. And it was just really, really interesting. So I'm going to get back to that design disconnect the next couple of weeks. And it was just like a fun, I don't know, thought to sort of bridge the gap. We haven't talked about it in a little bit. What does it make you think of when I say something like that?
Well, you threw me a little curveball there. I I feel that we are in the service industry here, right? And it's about understanding our client's budget and creating a realistic design that encompasses what it is they want to do, but also keeping that budget at the front of your mind. And that goes for architects, for engineers, all of us. We're all in the service industry together. We're all here to accomplish the same thing. So, I get it when you see that commercial that kind of makes you think like, oh, they're designing something big, wonderful, and beautiful, and and it's more one-sided, I think, is what you're saying, and that's what it made you think about instead of really capturing the whole team and thinking about budget and
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's interesting. There is a place for that no limits design. Your Frank Lloyd Wrights or your IM Pays. There is a need for that. Just there's no constraints. There's nearly no budget. It's just about pushing the limits of design. Those exist, but they are so few and far between in the industry. Like, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, most people just want a new kitchen. They just want another bedroom so their family can grow. They want things that just make their everyday lives easier. And that's most jobs. You and I, we've had a couple of projects that, will be, they're on our website. They are at the center of our portfolio. And they were designs that pushed the envelope and the budget, you know, is pushed as well. So, I mean, there's a place for those, but it's the exception, not the rule, I think.
yeah, I mean, just as a homeowner needs to do their due diligence when selecting a contractor, they're going through the same process when they hire an architect and an engineer. And they really have to interview these people, right? I mean, there's architects out there that are great fits for people that have that big budget and want the architect to run with their design, and maybe that's why they selected them, right? Maybe they saw a beautiful architectural stunning house and they want to emulate that on their house. So they want that architect. And other people that may not have that big budget that just are about design and budget and lining those things up, they just have to, select the right person that's a fit for them. But
Yeah.
I think that about covers it. Your George Costanza thing though, it made me think about what's the deal with grape nuts? No grapes, no nuts.
Is that George Costanza or is that Larry David? I don't know.
That's Seinfeld or something. My buddy does a great impression of that.
All right. Nice one.
Anyway,
All right.
that's all I got.
All right. We're talking about something fun on the job. Hit it.
Yeah, well, I am not in my home office right now. I'm up in Tahoe.
Oh, vacation.
Hey, yeah, Pace likes to call this a vacation. This is a workcation, I guess. But we brought our crew up here. We have a friend of mine that actually has a house on the same street as I do. He has a big, giant 4x16 structural beam that's 24 feet long, and it's picking up the front of his house. Half of it is exposed to the elements, and the other half is actually supporting the corner of his home. Out here in Tahoe, a lot of builders use Doug fir for their exterior structural components, as well as other things such as fencing and decking and that sort of thing. But, look, over time, this stuff rots. And the reason they use that material here is because the air is so dry. We don't have that heavy moisture, so stuff doesn't rot as easily. But my buddy did notice that there was some dry rot that he started to see in this beam. And, I walked through it with him, and I was able to, stick a screwdriver through in a couple parts. It was bad in a couple parts, and then a lot of it felt okay, but it definitely needed to be replaced. But we went ahead and we demoed this beam out, and oh my God, it blew my mind how bad it really is. I mean, you think you can see what's going on a little bit. You start poking around and there's some soft wood, but when we pulled this beam out, this beam is 24 feet long. You could split the entire beam in two with your bare hands. The thing was rotted all the way through the middle, the whole length. So it's interesting, right? I mean, as a homeowner, you really need to pay attention to your structure, to your home. And if there's an area that has dry rot, pay attention to it, because it may be a lot worse than you think. I mean, the truth is we never really know till we pull this stuff out. So we really want to analyze it as best we can in the field. But it was just interesting to see this beam that was completely shattered, which I didn't anticipate it to be that bad.
Yeah, home maintenance is such an important thing. A few weeks ago, we were talking about, putting together like a checklist for homeowners and things that you need to stay on top of. Some of those things, I think you mentioned like, pumps maybe, or you listed a couple of things are on an annual basis. Some things might be every 5 years or something you're looking at. And if you let things go, um, for too long, you can get to a point where the damage is significant and the expense, what might have taken, a weekend maybe to repair has turned into a major home project. And so just the importance of staying on top of these things and repairing at the first sign of things, it extends the life of your home. It makes those expenses a lot more manageable.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
It's interesting. We're finding that on two jobs at the same time. This other project that we've been showing a lot of the foundation and pier work on, the dry rot is extensive, and some of it we knew going into the project, but the amount of water that's been running within the framing, running 20 odd feet back into areas we wouldn't have guessed were touched, have significant dry rot. So chasing that probably small leak that originally occurred, chasing it back to the sort of end of the damage, man, it's been a lot.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had a long chase, right? I mean, as contractors, we've been doing this for a long time, and we have found certainly dry rot in previous projects, and there are a few jobs, not many, that you can count on one hand where we chase stuff very, very far. And this one, it's not, we're opening up a lot of stuff, so we're able to deal with it easier. But man, it's this falls into the category of heavy rot, chase it till you get it.
Yeah, it reminds me of I always talk about this one with clients. It's been over 20 years ago. We were hired for a siding job, and the homeowner, when we first got there, told us that the siding was in rough shape, and he's been meaning to do this for years. We signed on to redo the siding on the entire house, and when we peeled off the siding, we realized there was not only water damage behind there, but there was termite damage, and we ended up having to reframe the entire perimeter walls. What turned into maybe a 3 or 4 week project turned into about a 9 or 10 month project. It was shocking at first to the homeowner, but when he realized all of the things he would get, when he was eventually comfortable with the number and the scope of the project, he got on board, and he was happy in the end. But man, what a shock it was.
Yeah, I mean, what do you say to those people that just don't have the budget, and you find that dry rot, and you got to keep chasing it because you don't want to leave something like that. But some people, they don't have the money to do it, and you just kind of have to stop, right?
Yeah. Well, we're going to get through both of these. That's the good news. And the houses are going to be going to be around for another 100 years, long
No
after
doubt,
us.
no
Um,
doubt.
well, that was fun. I can't wait till you get back from your vacation. It's going to be good to see you again. And
There we go.
it's like the clients want to see you, the team wants to see you. It'll be nice. Yeah.
Well,
No,
look,
no reaction. I like that. All right. Anyway, from another episode of Build Connected, I'm Pace.
and I'm Adam.
See ya.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Build Connected. For more stories, insights, and ideas, visit diamondhomerestoration.com or find us on Instagram and LinkedIn. We'll be back next week. We hope you will too.